don't think it's just tempo. I think it's cutting back on the perfect formations, right? We have a lot of pre-snap motioning and changing the formations. That slows you down a little bit, as well as, from our perspective, not having, some lock calls where let's just call it and let's roll. We've wanted to check a lot of plays at the line of scrimmage, so they have a tendency to slow you down. So where do you go from there? You go to a lot more offensive plays that are static in their alignment and they're universal in their call. In other words, regardless of what coverage you get, you're going to be able to run these plays. So
effectively, Brian Kelly saying, call the play, run the play. You take down, please. Thank you. Call the play, run the play. And might simplify things. Jordan Rodgers will be on the call on Saturday night in Tiger Stadium with Tom Hart and Cole Kublik. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Hey, Jordan, thanks for the time, man. Great to have you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Just got done talking with the coaches here a couple hours ago, so looking forward to it.
Did you get a sense? Look, you've had the Tigers now a couple of times. Did you get a sense of anything different talking to the staff this time as opposed to the previous time you were in Baton Rouge?
I think it's a continued conversation about the identity of who they want to be on offense. That sound clip you just played from Brian Kelly was echoed to us as well. I think tempo and getting back to using tempo at times is something that this offense wants to do. I think at times, when you have a quarterback that's played a ton of football like Garrett Nussmeier, you want to fix things at the line of scrimmage. You want to get the perfect protection. You want to get the perfect route adjustment or change a combination when you can, when in reality, sometimes being fast and going fast can lead to less mistakes, less thinking, easier rolls for the line of scrimmage, the offensive line, and get your playmakers the ball in space. So I think that's going to be a continued emphasis for the offense, going into South Carolina.
Jordan, can you elaborate just a little more on who going fast might benefit the most? Is it the line with the calls? Is it Nussmeier just gripping and ripping? Like, who does that benefit the most going fast?
Everybody. First and foremost, yes, the offensive line, because the call's not changing, right? Think about as the seconds tick down and Garrett Nussmeier saying, hey, re-mic to the backside. Now every offensive lineman's going to, okay, now we're sliding to this guy. And it's that thinking that causes you to hesitate, right? And I think also from a play calling perspective, going fast, hey, let's just get our playmaker the ball in space. Let's not overthink the perfect play or the perfect concept or what coverage I think. Like, let's just get our guys that are faster than yours the ball quickly. So I think it really benefits everybody. I'm not saying you need to do that all the time, because you still got to allow Garrett Nussmeier to use, what he's so valuable at between the ears and getting you in the right protections at times. But sprinkling it in after a big play, on a first or second down to get some momentum going and just get, Barryon Brown or Aaron Anderson or Chris Hilton the ball in space, I think that's something they got to use as a weapon more frequently.
You all had LSU against Southeastern, and we know the score got out of hand. I'm not super concerned about the score against an FCS team, but one of the things is we've talked so much, Jordan, about Nuss and his physical health, what isn't bothered or whatever. That game, physically, he looked like Garrett Nussmeier. They were stretching the field. He made some throws across his body. Like, it looked right. And then a week later, it didn't against Ole Miss. Where do you fall with how Nuss has looked physically this year?
Not healthy at all. And I think you're starting to understand that that's the reality. And I think when you have an injury like anything abdominal, anything oblique, anything torso with a quarterback, it's not an acute injury. It's more of a usage injury. So like some weeks and if your volume was down in practice a little bit, you can feel a little bit better. In some weeks, you're forced to have a bigger volume, or maybe a game you tweaked it and there's a setback. So I think it's been a little bit of a roller coaster, but he has not been healthy. And I've said this since really week 2. I don't feel like I had seen Garrett Nussmeier throw the ball 90, 95%. Like when he reared back and needed his fastball, he never had it. And to me, that was a little bit of his superpower last year, is when the pocket broke down, when he was off platform, his ability to create torque and velocity when things broke down was something that I highlighted as, man, this guy is special because of it. You haven't seen that this year. That tells me he hasn't been healthy. Talking to coaches and the pitch count that they had and really shutting him down a little bit and having the bye week to rest, I think is going to bode really well. But you could see it. He's not the same Garrett Nussmeier. The play calling hasn't been the same because of that, because you don't really fully trust his ability to be accurate and push the ball downfield. So everything shrinks. When you can't run the football and you can't stretch a defense vertically, you're in a problem as a play caller. It's not a fun place to be. So I think we're going to see a healthier version. Don't think we're going to see 100%, but because of the bye week, I think he's going to be much healthier, and I hope that means getting back to a little bit of the offense being more of a vertical threat as we all expected it to be coming into the season.
Jordan Rodgers is with us. If you flip it, Jordan, you talk about Lenora Sellers there in Columbia. They're having a lot of the same conversations about what's going on offensively there. So let's just start with sort of an obvious one. What is the biggest thing ailing that offense in Columbia right now?
The lack of a traditional run game where you can hand it off and someone can make a play when it's not perfect. And I think we saw a little bit of a switch or a flip get switched with this offense against Kentucky, where they said, look, Lenoris is going to have to be Superman. And I think they wanted to build it so he could be sustainable as a guy they use in the run game a little bit here and there, but a guy that is more of a pocket passer that can make plays when it breaks down. I think that went out the window. And I think you saw last week with Kentucky more designed quarterback runs. I think you're going to see that even more so against LSU. I think the staff is realizing, and Mike Shula, the offensive coordinator, that that's the only way they can win is when Lenoris gets maybe 8 to 10 designed quarterback runs, and then also half the pass plays, get him outside the pocket. So he has a two-way go. If nothing's there, he can take off and run. We saw a ton of that against Kentucky. We saw design runs, boots, naked to get him outside the pocket. I think we're going to see a ton of that against LSU as well.
How do you think the LSU defense matches up against Sellers in that South Carolina offense?
I think it matches up well. This is an offensive line for South Carolina that's been banged up. They've struggled. They've had a bunch of different rotations. I think man-on-man, they match up really, really well. I think the interesting part for me is just continuing to look at this defense and go, how can Blake Baker get the most out of Harold Perkins? Because we're not seeing it. He has 1 sack in his last 9 games. He has three edge pressures since last year. I mean, it's just you've got to find a way, whether it's moving him or starting him at the line of scrimmage and attacking him with stunts. Time and time again, when I watched the tape last week against Ole Miss, when he did rush the quarterback, he was coming from too much depth and or, he had a back to read, and then once the back went the other way, then he was able to go. He was 2 or 3 steps away from affecting the quarterback like 5 or 6 times. And so I think in a game like this, especially with maybe how well LSU feels they'll match up man-to-man on the outside against South Carolina's receivers, this is not a strength. I think we'll see much more of Harold Perkins in the box around the line of scrimmage and him being able to be used as a weapon. And I think that's what this defense is missing. They're great on coverage on the back end. The defensive line, I think, has been disruptive. I want to see Harold Perkins have more of an impact. I think scheme-wise, he'll have that opportunity this week, and I hope that continues.
Jordan, I want to steal a thought on Missouri and Alabama as well, because look, there's a lot of people at this point, after really impressive wins by Alabama, think they might be the best team in the league. Missouri has looked awesome, but who have they played? Do you have a thought on how things might transpire in Como Saturday morning?
This is a really tough one because I love this Missouri team. I love Ahmad Hardy. I don't think he gets enough credit on the national in the national media for how good he is. I think if he had an A on the side of his helmet, he'd be the Heisman favorite right now, and everybody would know his name. So I think people will start to realize just how good he is. And I love Bo Prabula. I think he has been a great addition coming from Penn State. His mobility, his accuracy, especially on money down, third down, he's been lights out. The problem is this defense has not been tested. And I love Ty Simpson. I think he gets so much credit for how good of a pocket passer he is. But the X factor to me is how good he has been with his legs. Not just running, because he can take off. He's a good athlete. He can take off and hurt you with his legs. But getting outside the pocket and attacking downfield. He has 14 passing first downs outside the pocket. That's the most in the country. He is dangerous when things break down. And so as good as Missouri is, and they got a couple really good guys, Zion Young and Damon Wilson, great pass rushers. But when things break down, when the defensive structure breaks down, that's where, to me, Alabama has the advantage because of how good Ty has been in that situation. But I think it's going to be a really good game. I do think Missouri hasn't been tested, but I think they're going to be ready for this game. I think they match up well, especially with the run game and where Alabama has kind of been giving things up, in chunk plays. Hardy's going to get a few of those, so I think it's going to come down to the wire.
Where are you, Tom, and Cole going to dinner tonight?
Oh man, I'm in Como, Missouri for Nation tomorrow. So they're going to they'll be in Baton Rouge. They're going to Supper Club.
Well, Supper Club is a great sponsor of this show.
It's a great spot. I had it a couple weeks ago. It's fantastic.
It is. Brandon and Mackenzie outdid themselves. They kind of looked at that as like, let's give a gift to Baton Rouge, and it's a freaking phenomenal place.
It almost feels like you're in a Vegas nightclub.
Yes.
I love it. The food is unbelievable. If it's your birthday, you get a bottle of champagne and sparklers. Like, it doesn't feel like you're in Baton Rouge.
That's exactly what they were doing, man. Like, if you go through the whole thing, like they got the carpet from Holland. Like the wallpaper came from like Spain. Oh, dude, everything is just it's phenomenal. I mean, it's a great place to go. Hey, man, enjoy Nation tomorrow there in Como. It'll be no doubt a great scene, and then it should be a lot of energy in Tiger Stadium tomorrow night, man. Safe travels. Have a great call. We appreciate a few minutes.
Appreciate it.
Of course, that's Jordan Rodgers. Good enough to give us a couple of minutes. We appreciate the guy. So I guess he mentioned, I should have known that it was obviously going to be in Como for SC Nation, but he mentioned talking to the LSU coaches. I presume he did those convos remotely in preparation for the game. But
hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.